Ngozi, the children need their bags packed. We're leaving for the airport in 3 hours. Ngozi looked up from where she was helping 7-year-old Chima with his mathematics homework. Adore Okafor stood in the doorway of the children's playroom, immaculate in her designer dress, not a hair out of place, checking her phone rather than looking at the twins. Yes, Ma, Ngozi replied softly, as she always did. And make sure you lay out their European outfits. I don't want them looking shabby at Charles de Gaulle. We have an image to maintain. Adore finally glanced up, her eyes sweeping over Ngozi's simple blouse and wrapper with barely concealed disdain. Unlike some people, Ngozi bit her tongue, swallowing the familiar sting. 6 years of this. 6 years of mockery, of being treated like she was invisible, like she was nothing more than a piece of furniture that happened to care for children. 6 years of loving these children with every fiber of her being, while their mother barely spent an hour a day with them. Auntie Ngozi, do we have to go? Amara, Chima's twin sister, wrapped her small arms around Ngozi's waist. Can't we stay here with you instead? Hush, Ngozi whispered, stroking the little girl's braids. Your parents are taking you to see beautiful Paris. You'll have a wonderful time. But we want to stay with you, Chima insisted, abandoning his homework. Mummy never plays with us or helps us with school. She just takes us to boring adult places. Chima, Adore's voice was sharp. How dare you speak that way about your mother? But it's true. Your room. Now, both of you. The twins trudged away, and Ngozi felt her heart breaking for the 1,000th time. She started gathering their belongings for the trip, her hands moving automatically to a familiar routine of packing their favorite toys, the special blankets they couldn't sleep without, the books they loved. These children, her children, she pushed the thought away quickly, as she'd trained herself to do over the years. They weren't hers, not legally, not in any way that mattered to the world, even if her heart screamed otherwise every single day. That evening, Adore's friends came over for a pre-trip champagne in the sprawling Lecky mansion. Ngozi served drinks silently, invisible as always. Adore, darling, you let your help dress like that? One of the women, dripping in jewelry, gestured at Ngozi with her champagne flute. So shabby, what will people think? I know, Adore sighed dramatically, but good nannies are so hard to find. The children are unfortunately attached to her, so I tolerate it. Attached? Another woman laughed. Darling, you need to fix that. They're your children, not hers. Don't let the help get ideas above her station. Ngozi's hands trembled slightly as she refilled glasses. Above her station. As if loving children required a certain income level. As if the truth wouldn't destroy all their perfect assumptions. Chief Okafor entered, barely acknowledging Ngozi's presence. The car's ready. We should head to the airport. The chaos of departure followed. Ngozi knelt to hug the twins goodbye, breathing in their familiar scent, memorizing the feel of their small arms around her neck. We'll miss you, Annie Ngozi, they whispered in unison. I'll miss you more. Be good for your parents. Adore pulled them away. Come along. Stop clinging to the nanny like orphans. You're Okafors, not street children. The door closed. The big house fell silent. Ngozi stood alone in the marble foyer, surrounded by luxury that would never be hers, in a home where she was nothing but hired help. She climbed the stairs to her small room in the servants' quarters, a stark contrast to the opulence of the main house. Plain walls, a narrow bed, a small dresser, and in the bottom drawer, hidden beneath her few clothes, a worn envelope. She pulled it out with shaking hands, as she did every night they were gone. Hospital photos from 7 years ago. Her, younger and terrified, holding 2 newborn babies, before she'd made the worst decision of her life, before she'd sold them. The memory crashed over her like it did every night. The clinic with its 2 clean walls and sympathetic smiles. You're young, unmarried, with no support system. These babies deserve more than you can give them. We have a family, wealthy, educated, desperate for children. They'll give your twins everything. 500,000 Nigerian nairas for you to start fresh. It's better for everyone. Her signature on paper she barely read, tears blurring the words. The moment they took her babies away, and something in her died. She'd spent a year in hell after that. Grief, regret, suicidal despair. Then she'd seen the job posting. Nanny needed for twin infants, boy and girl, in Lecky. She'd gone to the interview with no hope, just needing work. And there they were, her babies. She'd known instantly. The distinctive birthmark on Chima's left shoulder, the exact shape of Amara's ears. The timing was perfect. 7 years ago, the Okafors had announced their miracle IVF pregnancy after years of trying. The clinic had sold her babies to this wealthy couple, disguised as legal donor eggs. She'd taken the job, unable to walk away, unable to reveal the truth and risk losing them again. 6 years of being close to her children, while pretending to be nothing but their nanny. 6 years of enduring Adore's contempt while watching her fail to truly love the babies Ngozi would have died for. 6 years of waiting for what? She didn't even know anymore. She kissed the photos and tucked them away, lying down on her narrow bed. "Forgive me," she whispered into the darkness, as she did every night. "Forgive me for not being strong enough to tell the truth. Forgive me for not being strong enough to walk away." In Paris, at that exact moment, Chima Okafor collapsed in his hotel room, and everything Ngozi had hidden for 6 years was about to be revealed. Ngozi's phone rang at 2 a.m. She jerked awake, heart pounding. Calls at this hour never brought good news. "Hello? Ngozi, it's Chief Okafor." His voice was tight with panic. "Chima collapsed. We're at the American hospital in Paris. They're running tests, but it's serious." Ice flooded her veins. "What's wrong with him?" "They don't know yet. Some kind of blood disorder. He needs transfusions. They tested Adore and me. Neither of us are compatible. The doctors are asking about family medical history, other relatives we could test." Ngozi's mind raced. Your siblings? Your parents. We're flying back to Lagos tonight. Better medical facilities, more family access. Can you arrange for my brothers and Adore's sisters to meet us at Lagoon Hospital tomorrow? They need to be tested immediately." "Of course. I'll handle everything." "Ngozi," his voice cracked slightly. "He's asking for you. Keeps calling for Annie Ngozi. We told him you were waiting at home." She pressed her fist to her mouth, tears streaming. "Tell him I love him. Tell him to be strong." After the call ended, she sat in the darkness of her small room, shaking. This was it, the moment she dreaded and somehow always known would come. The moment when hiding the truth might cost one of her children his life. 20 hours later, Ngozi stood in the corner of a private hospital room at Lagoon Hospital, watching doctors draw blood from Chief Okafor's siblings, Adore's family members, anyone who might be a match for Chima. Chima lay in the hospital bed, pale and weak, hooked to monitors. Amara sat beside him holding his hand, crying quietly. None of the family members were compatible. Dr. Adelik, the lead hematologist, addressed Chief Okafor gravely. "The blood disorder is rare but treatable with the right transfusion. Unfortunately, the specific markers we need, none of your family members match. We're checking the National Blood Bank, but given how rare this type is, we may need to test extended family, close friends. Anyone? Test me." Everyone turned to look at Ngozi. Adore's laugh was bitter. "Why would we test a nanny? You're not family. Please." Ngozi stepped forward, her voice stronger than she felt. "I've been with the children since they were babies. Sometimes people who aren't blood relatives can still be compatible. It can't hurt to try." Dr. Adelik looked at Chief Okafor, who shrugged helplessly. "At this point, test anyone willing. We're running out of options." The blood draw took 5 minutes. The wait felt like 5 years. Ngozi sat outside the hospital room, hands clasped, praying desperately, not for herself, for Chima, for the truth to save him, even if it destroyed her. 90 minutes later, Dr. Adelik returned, his expression peculiar. "Chief Okafor, Mrs. Okafor, could you come to my office, please?" "What about the test? Is a nanny a match?" Adore demanded. "Please, my office. It's complicated." They filed into the small office. Ngozi stood awkwardly by the door until the doctor gestured for her to sit. "I'm going to be direct," Dr. Adelik said, pulling up test results on his computer screen. Ngozi is compatible with Chima. In fact, the compatibility is exceptional, but there's something else. He turned the screen to show them charts Ngozi didn't understand, but Chief Okafor clearly did. His face went pale. These markers, Dr. Adeli continued carefully, indicate more than just blood type compatibility. They suggest a familial relationship. Specifically, the markers are consistent with a parent-child relationship. That's impossible, Adore whispered. I thought so too. So I ran the test 3 times. Same result. He looked directly at Ngozi. I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Is there any possibility these children could be yours biologically? The room spun. This was it. The moment of truth. Ngozi looked at Chima through the office window, dying because of a blood disorder that she, his real mother, could treat. Yes, she whispered. They're mine. The silence was deafening. What? Adore's voice rose to a shriek. What kind of scam is this? I recommend a full DNA test, Dr. Adeli said quietly, on both children. If I'm right, we'll have our answers and our blood donor within 48 hours. Chief Okafor found his voice. Run it. Test both twins. Now. The next 2 days passed in a blur. Chima received emergency transfusions from the blood bank while they waited. Ngozi donated blood, her blood for her son, while lawyers were called, while Adore ran about fraud and deception, while Chief Okafor made phone calls to a fertility clinic that had supposedly provided their donor eggs 7 years ago. The clinic, he discovered, had been shut down 5 years ago under investigation for illegal practices. The owners had fled the country. When the DNA results came back, Dr. Adeli delivered them with the gravity of a judge pronouncing sentence. Ngozi is the biological mother of both Chima and Amara Okafor. 99.9% certainty. Adore collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Chief Okafor stared at Ngozi like he was seeing her for the first time. How? So Ngozi told him everything. The unplanned pregnancy at 21, her boyfriend abandoning her, the poverty, the desperation, the clinic's offer, 500,000 Nigerian nairas, and the promise that her babies would go to a good home. She'd signed papers she barely understood, believing they'd be adopted by a family abroad. I thought I'd never see them again, she said, tears streaming down her face. I spent a year wanting to die. Then I saw your job posting. Nanny for twin infants. I thought maybe being around children would help me heal. When I arrived for the interview and saw them, her voice broke. Chima has a birthmark on his left shoulder, exactly where my son had one. Amara has the same shaped ears as my daughter. The timing was perfect. I knew. You knew they were your children and you said nothing? Adore's voice was venomous. What could I say? You'd paid millions for them through that clinic. You thought they were legally yours through IVF. If I had revealed the truth, I have lost them again, this time forever. At least as their nanny, I could be near them, love them, protect them. So you deceived us for 6 years. Chief Okafor asked, his voice hollow. I survived 6 years, Ngozi corrected quietly. 6 years of watching another woman raise my children. 6 years of being mocked and dismissed while caring for babies that came from my body. 6 years of knowing that if I told the truth, I'd destroy the only stability they'd ever known. She looked him in the eyes. But I couldn't let my son die. Not when my blood could save him. Even if it meant losing him forever, I couldn't watch Chima die. The transfusion happened that evening. Ngozi's blood flowing into Chima's veins, mother to son. Finally, undeniably, publicly, as Chima's color returned. As the monitors showed improvement, Ngozi sat beside his bed and let herself touch his face openly for the first time. And Ngozi, his voice was weak but clearer. Why is everyone acting so strange? Because we learned something important, my darling. Something that changes everything. Chief Okafor stood in the doorway, watching. When Chima fell asleep, he approached Ngozi. We need to talk about what happens now. I know, Ngozi said softly. I know. She looked at the sleeping child, her child, and prepared for the battle she'd feared for 6 years. The truth was out. Now came the hard part, deciding who these children really belonged to. She's their biological mother. The clinic sold her babies, and she's been their nanny for 6 years knowing the truth. If you're shocked, smash that like button. Subscribe to Africantales by Zion because the next chapter shows a custody battle and what happens when Lego society finds out. Comment below, who should raise the children? The biological mother or the people who raise them? Hit that notification bell. This is about to get messy. Chima, Amara, we need to talk to you about something very important. The twins sat on Chima's hospital bed, Amara holding her brother's hand. They looked small and scared, sensing the tension that had filled the room for days. Chief Okafor cleared his throat. A door stood behind him, her eyes red from crying. Ngozi stood apart, by the window, trying to make herself small. You know how Annie Ngozi gave blood to help Chima get better? Chief began carefully. The twins nodded. Well, when the doctors tested her blood, they discovered something. Something about how you're all connected. Connected how? Amara asked, her 7-year-old mind trying to understand. Auntie Ngozi she's your biological mother. That means when you were babies, you came from her. She's the one who gave birth to you. Silence. Then Chima asked a question that shattered the door completely. So Auntie Ngozi is our real mummy? I'm your real mummy. Adore's voice cracked. I'm the one who's raised you for 7 years. I'm the one who's always at parties and shopping. Amara's innocent observation was devastating. Auntie Ngozi is the one who helps with our homework and reads us stories and knows we're scared of the dark, and that's her job. I pay her to do those things. Did you pay her to love us? Chima asked quietly. The question hung in the air like smoke. Ngozi finally moved from the window. Children, this is complicated. Your mummy Adore and daddy love you very much. But you're our real mother? Amara interrupted. Like, you're the one who had us in your tummy? Yes, Ngozi admitted. But I couldn't keep you when you were babies. I was too poor. I thought I was giving you a better life. Why did you come back? Chima asked. Because I couldn't stay away. I loved you too much. The twins process this in that peculiar way children do, cutting through all the adult complexity to the simple truth. Can we call you Mama instead of Auntie Ngozi? Amara asked. Adore let out a sound like a wounded animal and fled the room. The legal battle began the next day. Adore's lawyer was aggressive from the start. My client has been the only mother these children have known. She has parental rights established through 7 years of guardianship. The nanny, the biological mother, Ngozi's court-appointed lawyer corrected. The nanny deceived my clients, worked under false pretenses, and only revealed this information when it suited her purposes. She revealed it to save a child's life. Ngozi's lawyer countered. And let's be clear about the deception. Your client obtained these children through an illegal clinic that exploited a vulnerable young woman. They're not the victims here. Chief Okafor's investigation had revealed the devastating truth. The clinic had been running a sophisticated operation, targeting desperate young mothers and wealthy couples. They'd take babies from poor women with promises of good homes, then sell them to wealthy couples as IVF successes with donor eggs. Falsified medical records, forged documents. At least 12 families had been affected. Some biological mothers had come forward. Others, like Ngozi, had been too afraid or ashamed. Until now, the story leaked to the media within days. Wealthy Lagos socialite discovers Nanny is children's birth mother. IVF scandal. Fertility clinic sold stolen babies to rich couples. The nanny who loved her children in secret for 6 years. Lagos society, which had mocked Ngozi for years, now turned on Adore with vicious glee. The same women who'd laughed at Ngozi's shabby clothes now whispered, "Can you imagine making the real mother serve tea while parading around with her children? I heard she was absolutely horrible to that poor woman. Those children barely know her. The nanny, the mother, is the one who raised them." Adore became a social pariah overnight. Invitations dried up. Her phone stopped ringing. The life she'd built on being mother to beautiful twins crumbled. She hired private investigators to dig into Ngozi's past. They found she'd been unmarried when pregnant, had struggled with depression, had worked minimum wage jobs before becoming a nanny. Adore's lawyer tried to use it, This woman was irresponsible, got pregnant out of wedlock, couldn't afford to keep her children. Is this who should raise them? But the argument backfired spectacularly. Public opinion swung hard toward Ngozi. She was 21 and abandoned. The clinic exploited her poverty. She's a victim. She spent 6 years being treated like dirt just to be near her children. That's real love. The rich woman has everything except actual love for those kids. Chief Okafor watched it all with growing discomfort. Late one night, he found Ngozi in the hospital cafeteria after visiting hours. "You're still here?" he asked. "I can't leave them," she said simply. "Not anymore." He sat down across from her. "I've been thinking about the past 6 years, about how we treated you. You didn't know. We should have. The way those children loved you, the way they ran to you for everything. We should have wondered why." He rubbed his face. "We were terrible to you. You thought I was a help. You were their mother, their mother. And we made you live in servants' quarters and serve our guests drinks while your children called another woman mummy." Ngozi looked at him carefully. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I'm not sure we deserve them. Legally, maybe we have a case. We raised them, provided for them, gave them stability. But honestly, you're the one who raised them. We just paid the bills." "Chief Okafor, Adore is my wife. I have to support her in this. But between us," he met her eyes, "those children belong with you. They always have." The custody hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks later. Both sides prepared their cases. Adore's lawyer emphasized 7 years of guardianship, a stable, wealthy home, educational advantages, the only parents the children had consciously known. Ngozi's lawyer emphasized biological mother, victim of an illegal scheme, the actual primary caregiver emotionally, the one the children were bonded to. The judge ordered psychological evaluations of the children. Dr. Alimide, a child psychologist, interviewed the twins separately in a comfortable office with toys and books. "Who takes care of you when you're sick?" she asked Amara. "Auntie Ngozi. I mean Mama Ngozi." "Who helps you with your homework?" "Mama Ngozi." "Who do you go to when you're scared?" "Mama Ngozi." "What about Mummy Adore?" Amara thought carefully. "She buys us nice things and takes us to parties sometimes, but she's always busy." Chima's interview was similar. Every question about emotional needs, comfort, security led back to Ngozi. The psychologist's report was damning. The children have primary attachment to Ngozi. While they have affection for the Okafors, their emotional security, their concept of safety and love, is rooted entirely in their relationship with their biological mother. Separating them from Ngozi would cause severe psychological trauma. When Chief Okafor read the report, he made a decision. He called his lawyer. "I want to change our position." "What?" "Chief, we have a strong case. We have a legal case, but it's not the right case. Those children need their mother, their real mother, the one who's been mothering them all along. Your wife will never agree. Then I'll do it without her agreement. I'm their father legally. I have a say, and I say we need to let them go." The courtroom gasped when Chief Okafor stood and made his announcement. "Your Honor, I'd like to propose joint custody, with primary residence granted to Ngozi." Adore shot to her feet. "What are you doing?" "The right thing," Chief said quietly. "Finally, Chief Okafor is siding with the nanny. He's giving up custody to the biological mother. If this twist shocked you, smash that like button. Subscribe to Africantales by Zion because the next chapter shows the judge's decision and Lego Society's reaction. Comment: is Chief Okafor doing the right thing? Would you give up children you raised? Hit that notification bell. The verdict is coming. The courtroom erupted. Adore's family members stood up, shouting. Her lawyer demanded a recess. The judge banged his gavel repeatedly, trying to restore order. Through it all, Ngozi sat frozen, unable to believe what she'd just heard. Chief Okafor wanted to give her the children. Your Honor, Chief Okafor continued, his voice steady despite the chaos. I've spent weeks thinking about what's best for Chima and Amara. Not what's best for my pride or my wife's feelings or our social standing. What's best for them. He turned to look at Ngozi. That woman spent 6 years watching us raise her children. 6 years of being mocked and dismissed while caring for babies that came from her body. She sacrificed her pride, her dignity, her truth, all to stay near them. That's not sacrifice, that's deception. Adore's lawyer interjected. Is it? Chief Okafor challenged. She was 21, poor, and desperate when that clinic told her they'd find her babies a good home. She trusted them. They betrayed her. They sold her children to us and told us it was legal. We were all victims of that clinic. He faced the judge directly. But these children? They're not confused about who their mother is. We asked them. The psychologist asked them. They know. It's Ngozi. It's always been Ngozi. I have raised those children. Adore cried out. I'm their mother. You gave birth to an idea of motherhood, Chief said gently. You wanted the social status of being a mother, the photo opportunities, the societal approval. But motherhood is homework, help at midnight, and holding them when they have nightmares, and knowing they hate carrots but love peas. That's Ngozi. That's who they need. The judge called a recess. In the hallway, Adore confronted her husband. How can you do this to me? After everything, I'm not doing it to you. I'm doing it for them. They're my children. No, Adore. His voice was tired. They're Ngozi's children. They always were. We just borrowed them because a corrupt clinic made it possible. The recess stretched into days as both lawyers negotiated. Meanwhile, the media frenzy intensified. Investigative journalists dug deeper into fertility clinic scandal. More victims came forward, both biological mothers and adoptive parents who'd been deceived. One mother, Tund, went on television. They took my baby girl from me when I was 19. Told me she'd be adopted in America. I just found out she's been in Lagos the whole time, raised by a banker and his wife who think she's from a donor egg. Another couple, the Adebayos, discovered their IVF twins were actually taken from a woman in Ibadan who'd been told they died at birth. The clinic had been systematic, ruthless, profitable. They'd preyed on poor women's desperation and wealthy couples' hope. This isn't about one nanny and one family, a child welfare advocate told reporters. This is about a system that treats children like commodities and mothers like incubators for sale. Public opinion crystallized around Ngozi. Support poured in from unexpected places. Women's groups rallied. Churches preached about justice. Social media hashtags trended. Hashtag justice for Ngozi. Hashtag children no love. Hashtag real motherhood. Even some of Adore's former friends spoke up. We saw how she treated that woman. We laughed along. God forgive us. We mocked her. But those children loved her. We saw it. We just didn't think it mattered because she was just a nanny. Adore, isolated and desperate, made a final attempt. She called a press conference. I love my children, she told the cameras, tears streaming. I may not be perfect. I may have worked too much, socialized too much. But I love them. And I'm begging the courts, begging the public, don't take my children away. The statement was meant to garner sympathy. Instead, it backfired when a reporter asked, Mrs. Okafor, can you tell us Chima's favorite color? Silence. What about Amar's favorite food? More silence. What are they afraid of? What makes them laugh? What do they want to be when they grow up? Adore couldn't answer. Not one question. The reporter was gentle but firm. These are basic things any involved parent would know. Ngozi knows all of these things. Perhaps that's the real issue here. The press conference was a disaster. That night, Adore sat in her empty Lekki mansion. The children were staying with Ngozi in a hotel room paid for by a legal aid charity, and looked at photo albums. Pictures of the twins from birth to now. Birthdays, holidays, school events. In every photo, she was present, dressed beautifully, smiling for the camera. But when she looked closer, she saw the truth. In nearly every photo, the children were looking at someone off camera, reaching for someone else, crying for someone else, looking for Ngozi. She'd been so busy curating the perfect image of motherhood that she'd never actually been a mother. The realization broke her. She called her therapist. I need help. I don't know how I became this person. What person? Someone who treats people like they're disposable. someone who values image over actual human connection, someone who lost her children without ever really having them. The therapy sessions were brutal, confronting her own narcissism, her obsession with status, her emotional emptiness. I wanted children because it's what society expected, she admitted in one session. A successful woman has a husband, a home, children. Check, check, check. I never thought about actually being a mother. I thought having staff to do it was normal. And now I've lost everything. My social standing, my marriage is damaged, my children don't want me, and it's all my fault. Meanwhile, Chief Okafor was having his own reckoning. He met with Ngozi to discuss the custody arrangement. If the judge grants you primary custody, and I think he will, I want to provide financial support, a proper home, educational funds, everything they need. I don't want a charity, Ngozi said quietly. It's not charity, it's responsibility. I may not be their biological father, but I've been their father for 7 years. That counts for something. And I have the means to make their lives easier. Let me? Why are you doing this? She asked. Your wife wants to fight me. Because you're right and she's wrong. Because those children deserve their mother. Because... He paused. Because I'm ashamed of how we treated you, of how blind we were, of how we benefited from a system that exploited you. You didn't know about the clinic's fraud. But we should have asked more questions. Should have wondered why a young, healthy woman would give up twins. Should have thought about the ethics of what we were doing. He met her eyes. We were so desperate for children that we didn't care where they came from or what it cost someone else. The honesty was startling. I forgive you, Ngozi said simply, for the children's sake, because they love you too in their way, and they deserve to have you in their lives. Thank you, he said hoarsely. The judge's decision came 2 weeks later. The courtroom was packed with media, supporters, and curious onlookers. After reviewing all evidence, psychological reports, and testimony, the judge began, "This court finds that the best interests of the children Chima and Amara are served by granting primary custody to their biological mother, Ngozi Obi." Ngozi gasped, tears streaming. However, the judge continued, "This court also recognizes that Chief and Mrs. Okafor have been parental figures for 7 years. Therefore, we grant generous visitation rights and mandate continued financial support for the children's welfare." A door stood up and walked out silently. Chief Okafor approached Ngozi. "Congratulations. They're going home. To their real home, with their real mother." That night, Ngozi tucked Chima and Amara into beds. In a proper apartment, Chief Okafor had purchased them, refusing to let her refuse. "Mama?" Amara whispered. "Are you our mama now? For real? I've always been your mama, sweetheart, always. But now everyone knows?" Chima added, "Now everyone knows." "Good," Amara said firmly. "We like everyone knowing." They fell asleep, secure and loved. Ngozi sat between their beds, watching them breathe, and let herself cry. Tears of relief, of joy, of grief for the lost years. But mostly gratitude. Her children. Finally, openly, legally, completely. Her children. The judge gave her the children. Primary custody to the biological mother. If you're crying happy tears, smash that like button. Subscribe to Africantales by Zion because the final chapter shows their new life together and what happens to Adore. Comment. Did the judge make the right decision? How should Adore move forward? Hit that notification bell. The ending is going to be beautiful. 6 months after the custody ruling, Ngozi stood in the doorway of Chima and Amara's bedroom, watching them sleep. Their bedroom, in their home. The 3-bedroom apartment Chief Okafor had purchased in a good neighborhood with good schools. Not as lavish as a Lekki mansion, but warm, filled with love and theirs. So much had changed. Ngozi now worked part-time at an educational center while studying for her teaching certification. Chief Okafor's suggestion and financial support. You've been teaching them for years anyway. Might as well make it official. The twins thrived. Their grades had improved. Their smiles came easier. They called her Mama without hesitation now, but they still saw the Okafors. Every Saturday, like clockwork, The arrangement had been awkward at first. The first Saturday, Adore had arrived with expensive gifts and forced enthusiasm. I brought you new tablets and designer clothes, and we did our homework with Mama. Chima had said simply, "Want to see?" I got an A on my math test. Adore had looked at the test paper like it was written in a foreign language, but she tried. Slowly, painfully, she'd begun to try. Therapy had helped. Adore had started seeing a psychologist who specialized in narcissistic personality patterns and attachment disorders. I was raised to believe that image was everything, she'd admitted to Ngozi during one painful coffee meeting. My mother taught me that how things looked mattered more than how they felt. I thought being a mother meant having beautiful children in beautiful clothes in beautiful photos. And now, Ngozi had asked gently, now I'm learning it means showing up, actually knowing them, being there when it's not Instagram worthy. The changes were small but real. Adore learned that Amara loved drawing. She bought art supplies and sat with her, awkwardly, trying to connect. She discovered Chima was fascinated by space. She took him to the planetarium and actually listened to his excited explanations about Mars rovers. She was learning to be an auntie, if not a mother, and the children, with the forgiveness unique to childhood. Let her. Chief Okafor's evolution was different. He'd become an unexpected ally to Ngozi, helping with school events, offering fatherly advice, treating her with the respect he should have shown 6 years ago. I know I'm not their biological father, he'd said once, but I'd like to remain in their lives. As what? An uncle figure? A family friend? As their daddy? Ngozi had said simply, because that's what you've been. Not perfectly, but you've been there. That counts. His eyes had filled with tears. Thank you. The transformation extended beyond their small circle. Ngozi had become an advocate for the other mothers affected by the clinic scandal. She spoke at conferences, shared her story, pushed for legislation to prevent illegal adoption schemes. I was lucky, she told audiences. I found my children. But there are mothers out there still searching, still grieving, still not knowing their babies are being raised a few miles away. The advocacy work led to a larger support network. Other biological mothers, adoptive parents trying to do right by discovered truths, children caught in the middle. A foundation was established. Truth in Family, helping families navigate the aftermath of illegal adoptions. Chief Okafor funded it. Adore volunteered, both seeking atonement in their own ways. One evening, 8 months after the custody ruling, Adore came for her Saturday visit with the twins. But this time, she asked to speak with Ngozi privately. They sat on Ngozi's small balcony while the children played inside. I owe you an apology, Adore began. A real one, not the performative one I gave in court. Ngozi waited. For 6 years, I treated you like you were nothing, less than nothing. I mocked you, belittled you, made you sleep in servants' quarters while you cared for your own children. Adore's voice cracked. You must have hated me. Sometimes, Ngozi admitted, but mostly I pitied you. Pitied me? Because you had everything I wanted, my children, security, respect, and you didn't even value it. You were so busy maintaining an image that you missed actually living. Adore was quiet for a long moment. You're right. I've wasted so much time, so much potential for connection, with the children, with my husband, even with you. It's not too late, Ngozi said gently. They still care about you. They ask about you during the week. They get excited for Saturdays. Really, you're part of their story. Not the way you planned, but you are, and they're generous enough to let you be part of their future too. Adore wiped tears. I don't deserve that. None of us deserve the grace we're given. We just have to be grateful for it. The two women sat in comfortable silence, united by love for the same children, no longer enemies but not quite friends. Something new, something harder to define. Co-mothers, perhaps, each playing different but necessary roles in the twins' lives. That night, after Adore left and the children were bathed and ready for bed, they asked for story time. Tell us the story again, Mama. Amara requested, about how you found us. Ngozi settled between their beds, as she did every night. I didn't find you, my loves. I never lost you. Even when we were apart, even when no one knew the truth, you were always mine. My heart knew. My heart always knew. Because mothers always know their babies? Chima asked, because love always knows its own. Even when it's hard? Amara wondered, especially when it's hard. Love that survives hardship is the strongest love of all. The children drifted off to sleep, secure in the knowledge that they were loved by their mother who gave birth to them, by their father figure who chose them, even by the woman who thought she was their mother and was learning what that word truly meant. After they slept, Ngozi pulled out the old photos she'd hidden for so long. Hospital pictures from 7 years ago. Her, terrified and young, holding 2 newborns. She placed them in a frame beside new photos. The twins now confident and happy. Family photos with Chief Okafor at school events. Even one awkward but genuine photo with Adore at Amar's art show. The past and present. Finally reconciled. Her phone buzzed. A text from one of the mothers in the support group. Court date tomorrow. Wish me luck. Ngozi typed back, you've got this. Remember, love always finds a way. She looked around the small apartment. Not grand like the Lecky Mansion. Not impressive to Lego Society. But filled with laughter and homework and bedtime stories and everything that mattered. She'd lost years with her children. Years of first words and first steps and first she'd never get back. But she'd gained something too. The knowledge that love, real love, survives anything. Poverty, deception, legal battles, public judgment. She'd survived 6 years of mockery and contempt. 6 years of hiding her truth. 6 years of loving her children in secret. And now she got to love them out loud. She whispered into the quiet apartment. I'd do it all again. Every painful moment. Every humiliation. Every year of pretending. It was worth it. You were always worth it. In their beds, her children slept peacefully. And Ngozi, their mother, finally, openly, completely, allowed herself to believe that everything had worked out exactly as it should. The nanny they'd mocked had become the mother they'd needed all along. And that was its own perfect justice. She has her children. They're thriving. Adore's learning. Chief Okafor helps. And Ngozi became an advocate for other mothers. This is the perfect ending. If you're satisfied, smash that like button. Subscribe to Africantales by Zion for more stories proving that love and truth always win. Comment. What was the most powerful moment in this story? Share this with someone who needs to know that real motherhood isn't about biology or money. It's about love and presence. Hit that notification bell for more inspiring African tales.